So nice to have you guys here. So we'll get started, and as people pop in, if you can all unmute yourself, I think that might help. That might just help. Shadi's here too. Hi, Shadi. So if everyone unmutes himself, then we won't have any echoing or anything, if there are sounds in the background or the phone rings or, the usual things. So, this morning I woke up to the news, right? Feds in Oregon and probably in Chicago soon. Chaos with the unrest, with what's going on in education, COVID numbers rising, and I could feel my heart rate go up. And as much as we all try to make it a habit not to run to the news in the morning, somehow you always end up there, right? We're all talking about it. It's what's in the air. It's what's going on. And even if we keep ourselves away from it, there's a frequency of the feeling in the air that's pretty much unavoidable. It is there. It is what it is. And our bodies absorb that frequency. Our bodies really need to digest that frequency and process that frequency. And those frequencies turn into the fear, the anxiety, the short-temperedness, and everything that we all have felt with the ebbs and flows of COVID and the constant changing of the guards. 1 minute we're okay, one minute we're not okay. One day masks are fine, and another day masks are not so good, or actually backwards, right? It started out with the masks question mark, and now we all have to wear masks. And then different personalities. We're dealing with so many emotions of people wanting this and not wanting this, wanting to follow the orders and not following the orders, So I think that leaves this frequency for all of us to absorb. It's a frequency of unrest. It's a frequency of unsettlement, if you will. And this is why I think mindfulness is so important at a time like this. It's really something that helps ground us and helps us digest, helps our bodies process these frequencies that are in the air. So even if we self-manage, and even if we do a really good job at it, by osmosis, we are collectively absorbing the energy that's in the air. So by definition, mindfulness is just really being in the present moment, paying attention to the present moment experiences with curiosity, with openness, and a willingness to be with what is. And interestingly enough, this time that we have, this COVID time, and of course all the racial unrest that we have going on everywhere, it really gives us pause to think about, how we can be open-minded, how we can be willing to accept this moment, right? That requires a lot of inner work. That requires grit. That requires us to be dedicated to this cause of self-management. And nothing is more important than self-management at this point, because if we don't manage ourselves, then we will start to see this manifest, this anxiety, this fear, this worry manifest in different ways, not just within our own bodies, but within our family, within our friends and our community. And so I feel it's so important for us to not just manage ourselves, but to come together and do this collective management so that we can shift that frequency. Even if it's a small group, we can start to tip that scale and really output positive vibes into the environment, into the air, and know, not just hope, but actually know that these positive vibes are going to be picked up by someone. They're going to help somebody who's feeling down and depressed and anxious and fearful, because there's so much of that going on in the air right now. And so mindfulness is about really hearing the sounds and the feeling of the hearing and the feeling of the seeing and the feeling of the feeling itself, really being present and accepting the moment as it has showed up, because honestly, there's nothing we can do about it. The moment is here, the moment is now. So our only choice is to be mindful, to be aware, to accept it, and to, I know it's hard to use the word embrace, but if we can sit comfortably with it, then that would be enough for now. So Jan Chosen Bays, she's a pediatrician and a meditation teacher, and I was reading these words from her this morning, and I thought they're such share-worthy words, and I just want to read this to you. She says, for the first 200,000 years of human history, we were only exposed to the news and the suffering of those immediately around us in our tribes and villages. We saw birth, sickness, death, and wars, but on a limited scale. Only in the last 50 years or so has the news media poured the suffering of the entire world, the wars, the natural disasters, the torture, the starvation, and now COVID for us, and the racial injustice, into our ears and eyes every day, day after day after day. This suffering that we are helpless to fix accumulates in our mind and heart, and it makes us suffer in turn. When the mind and heart become too full of pictures and images of violence, destruction, and pain, we must take time to empty ourselves. A steady diet of negative news makes the mind ill. So give the mind the good medicine of silence, beauty, and loving friendship. So I really think that if we are all of us to be part of a family and a part of a community, our very first service is to ourselves, to be able to sit in that space of silence, to refuel. So before we get started, I just thought I would put this out there and ask all of you, what are you carrying in your containers from this last week or weekend? You can just throw that in the chat box so we have some words to start with. And if you don't want to share, that's fine too. But if you're comfortable sharing, maybe throw in a word or two that's sitting at the surface for you. Love. Uncertainty. Definitely. Gratitude. Yes, and it's so interesting that, you know, in this time of uncertainty, we're holding the hand of both love and gratitude, right? And this is the challenge. It's hard to hold the hand of joy and grief and gratitude and grief at the same time. It's really hard for us to do that. So let's take that into a practice. Let's take that into some quiet time. And as we sit with ourselves, I'll guide you through just about 10 minutes of a guided meditation and see how we can process, how we can hopefully magnify the lens of love and gratitude and use that to calm the uncertainty that all of us are feeling. And worry about what school will be like for the kids and the right thing to do. And yes, frustration, absolutely. I talked about this just as soon as we started, that has been at the news in the forefront for parents. What is this next year going to look like? And that uncertainty again. So let's take a few minutes. I'm going to put the timer on and let everyone settle in. And you can close your eyes if you're comfortable. And if not, that's fine. So have your feet flat on the floor or rested if you're sitting on a sofa or cross-legged. And you can choose to close your eyes or keep them open as you feel comfortable. If your eyes are open, just find a spot to fix your gaze or hold your eye sockets softly so that you can soften your eyelids. Do what's comfortable and what works for you. Let's feel the weight of our feet on the ground. When we keep our feet grounded, the energy of the body gets grounded. Let the ground, the gravity, hold the uncertainty that we're feeling in our bodies. Move your attention, your awareness, to your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hips. Feel the weight of your hips on your chair or sofa. Move your awareness, your energy, up to your abdomen, further up to your heart space. Let your awareness also travel up your spine to the base of your neck, bringing you to your shoulders. Relax your shoulders, your neck. Release any tension that you might have around your neck area. If you're holding any tension or tightness in your jaw, then just gently with a breath, let it go. Soften your cheekbones, your eyes, your forehead. Let your arms be relaxed and hands be soft. And just put your attention on your breath. Feel your breath going in through your nostrils, right at that base, at that tip of your nostrils, where the intelligence of the air touches the intelligence of your body. See if you can keep your attention there for just a minute. Observe your breath going in and out, effortlessly allowing the body and the breath to be just the way it is. This effort translates into us allowing ourselves, when we go out into the daily world, to be just the way we are. Let's take 2 or 3 deep breaths. Watch your abdomen rise and fall. You can watch your chest rise and fall. Just pick a point that's comfortable for you. Pick an anchor, be it your breath at the tip of your nostrils, or the rising and falling of your chest, or the rising and falling of your tummy. And just sit there for just 2 minutes and allow life to be just the way it is. Openness, curiosity, willingness to accept our breath just the way it is. If your mind drifts, use your breath as an anchor to bring you back. It is in the nature of the mind to drift. We just have to make it in our nature to gently bring it back. The drift and the return is that best service that we can give ourselves. not to resist the drift, but to work with it. If you feel distracted by a sound, that's okay. Be willing to accept it as it is, as an offering. Use your anchor, your breath, to bring you back, to bring your awareness back into your body. Our breath is always with us, always. Our breath friend, our best friend, has been with us since the day we came onto this earth, and will be with us till we take our last breath. Honoring this breath, learning to be with it, to sit with it. This is what can help the anxiety and the fear, and really help regulate our bodies and our minds and our emotions. Scan your body to see if you feel uncertainty in a certain place in your body. And if you feel the feeling of uncertainty in a certain body part, breathe into that spot, and with an exhale, see if you can let it go. See where you can feel the word love in your body. And sit with it. Take comfort in it. Embrace it. So you can turn to it when you're feeling uncertain when you go out into your day. Gratitude. See where you feel gratitude in your body. Is there a particular spot where you hold gratitude? Breathe into that place of gratitude within your body, and see if you can send it to your toes, your knees, your hips, your heart space, your shoulders. Take it all the way up to the crown of your head. And hold yourself in gratitude, grateful for being alive at this time that is so difficult for so many. Now let's send some of that love out. Let's send some of this gratitude out into a frequency collectively for those that are in need. Let's take a couple of deep breaths. A small personal affirmation internally, in your own words, sending love and gratitude out into the world. When you're ready, you can open your eyes or just bring your awareness back into the room. It's pretty amazing that our body's always here and present in the now. And our mind is rarely in the now. It's always wandering and wondering and filling our bodies up with anxiety and fear and uncertainty with the day-to-day happenings. And we're at the peak of it at this time. So really having some short practices like this and just playing with words that resonate with you, asking yourself, what was your word for the day that caused you angst? And what sort of word you can use to cultivate a positive emotion to help balance that angst. And doing this little 5 minutes, 10 minutes through your day can really help uplift your own vibration. And then of course, the vibration of everyone around us. And really give us some tools to self-manage and be able to flow through this time, right? Because I don't think any of us have ever seen waves this turbulent as we have seen in the last 6 months, and this might continue. Interestingly enough, we all talk about having gotten used to this, having adapted to this, and yet this adaptation is not normal for the human body. So keeping that in mind and keeping that perspective at the forefront, knowing that you might have adapted to this almost fight or flight, although most experts are telling us that we're now coming out of the fight or flight. Most of us are, because we've adapted, but that internal fight or flight is there with the news. And that's why I started this conversation with what's going on in the media. So make sure that you have, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, something to help you surf through your day, help you manage your day, and of course, share that with your family as well. So I'm going to open this up for questions, but before that, I want to set an intention and let this be a group intention. So throw some words in the chat box for me and tell me how you guys are feeling. How was this practice for you? Gratitude, relaxed, consistency, relaxed and grateful. That's so beautiful. I love when we have these synchronized moments like this, right? Because I wrote relaxed and restful as my own intention as I was trying to, think about what are the things that I want to share with you today. So yes, I see relaxed here, I see restful here. So we're definitely all on the same page. And this is the beauty of meditation. You really realize that within a half an hour, we can all feel synchronized. We can all feel together. We can feel that togetherness. So let's make that our intention for the week, to be relaxed and to be restful and to be grateful. And when we come back next Monday, then we can talk about that and see, how much of an effort that took for us to inculcate into our day. So if anyone has any questions, you can just shoot them in the chat box. We have a few more minutes. Or actually, you can unmute yourself. There's not that many of us. You can go ahead and unmute yourself if you want to. And that way you can ask questions. I am you, and you are me, and we are one. Sending much love to you, Roma, and everyone here. Thank you, Joy. Thank you so much. That's so beautiful. So beautiful. I love that no one has any questions. Everyone feeling settled? Navin, go ahead.
I have a question, of course. How do we find the balance of staying on top of the news, but not getting pounded over the head with it constantly, staying in the know, but not letting it drag us down? That's been my biggest struggle for sure. It's like I want to stay informed and stay in the know because it obviously has to do with my day-to-day at work, but also have a tough time managing how much of it I take in.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great question because mindfulness is a quality. It's a capacity. It's that space between our bodies and the emotion. So entering that space, that fine space between the body and how we're reacting to something and the emotion that's generated from the body, creating that little space of mindfulness, if you will, that is the practice. And you can use your breath, whatever your anchor was that you picked today, whether it was, at the tip of the nostrils, or if it was your chest falling and rising, or your abdomen, or the weight of your feet, or your hands sitting, have an anchor that you can go back to at will at any point during the day. And the more you sit for the 5 minutes to establish your anchor and get comfortable with what comes to you naturally as an anchor, the more more comfortably you'll be able to turn to it during the day. So this is the training. This is the exercise. They talk about like weightlifting, right? That, and your cardio, that you do it at a certain time, but you feel the benefits of it all day long. So this is exactly what it is. What we do here together, if you can do this every day for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, then you can actually go back to your anchor to find that comfort, to create that space. Because for the essential workers, and for all of us at this point, it's important to know what's happening in our world. That's part of our existence. We're part of it. We can't separate ourselves from it, but how should we then not react to it and not become reactive to it? And when we do, which we're going to, hands down, that's just the nature of life, being able to have these tools to go to self-manage.
Thank you.
Does that help you? Can you visualize that, Navin?
Yeah, totally. And I know I talk to you every day and I haven't asked you this question, so I'm glad we got to get it out here. So
it's great. Thank you. Anyone else for questions? Okay, perfect. Well, thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for being here. And I hope to see you next week, same time, same place.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Thank you. Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you.
Love you, Mom.
Love you too.